Hi everyone, and welcome to English 2010. My name is Lacey Hope, and I will be your instructor for the semester. This is Core Lecture 1, where we'll be doing a brief course introduction. Before we begin, please remember that there is a lecture summary due with Core Lecture 1. There is not a lecture assignment with Core Lecture 1, much like there will be for the rest of our core lectures. But you will still need some kind of document to compose and submit that summary on by this Sunday. Now, the purpose and goals for Core Lecture 1 are as follows. First, I'll provide an introduction to English 2010 as well as its key goals. Next, we'll examine important course-related protocols and procedures by looking at the syllabus. After that, we'll become familiar with the course calendar and important due dates. And finally, we will explore our course canvas so that way you can navigate through all of the content with relative ease. Now, let's first jump over to our course syllabus. So that way we can start discussing those key protocols and procedures. Again, this is English 2010, section 45, intermediate writing for the spring 2019 semester. Before we go any further, I want to note that the selected topic for this course will be public composition. The reason that I like to frame or approach English 2010 through a public composition lens is because I think with academia, you are provided a unique opportunity to really give back to your community and to improve the public life, however you define that in whatever way you think that is best achieved. So if you think about it, as a college student, you are exposed to so many different perspectives you might not be otherwise. You also have so many wonderful resources at your fingertips, really, from the instructors that you work with, the professors that you work with, from the peers that you engage with, to the research that you have access to the books and the articles and the different kind of information that is readily available to you. Now, of course, what we are going to look at this semester will definitely help you with composing for university audiences, and this is going to help you learn strategies for strong academic writing. But again, the way in which we approach it will ask you to think critically about your community, however you define that, what you think can be improved, and how you can use writing to improve upon that. So that is what it means when it says selected topic public composition. So my name again is Lacey Hope, and I'm going to be your instructor this semester. A few things about me. First and foremost, yes, Hope is my last name. I do get that quite often. And when we chat, even if it is via email or if we are talking Google Hangout, whatever the case may be, you are welcome to refer to me as Lacey. You can call me Mrs. Hope, Instructor Hope. Really, it's whatever you're comfortable with, I will respond to. So, again, a little bit more about me. I am actually a proud Dixie State alum. I attended DSU back in the day and got my bachelor's in English with an emphasis in professional and technical writing. I'm now currently a PhD student at Washington State University, where I am studying algorithmic rhetoric, and I want to answer the question, why are we insufferable on social media sites? So why do we become so uncivil when we are chatting with people on platforms like Facebook and Twitter? So that is sort of my lens of research. So that's just a little bit about me. Now, if you ever need to get a hold of me, there are a couple different ways you can do so. First and foremost, you are welcome to email me at lacey.hope at dixie.edu, or you can just message me on Canvas. And I would actually recommend to message me on Canvas. I usually have better access to Canvas, so you might get a quicker response versus if you decide to email me through Dixie's email. But regardless, please do allow for a 24-hour response time. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am a graduate student at Washington State University, and as such, I do not live in the St. George area. And so I don't have a physical office on the DSU campus. However, I'm available on Canvas chat if you would prefer just to kind of have a back and forth. I am. And I'm also happy to talk on platforms like Skype or Google Hangout. So really, it's just whatever works best for you and however you choose to engage with me and whatever you think will be best for you. Now, I don't have official office hours since I don't have an office that you can drop in at. So please just let me know whenever works best for you. My schedule is fairly flexible, and I know many of you are busy with other classes, with your work schedules, with family life. So really just shoot me an email or message me on Canvas. Let me know what times will work best for you, and we can work something out if you would like to chat on Skype or Google Hangout. So moving on, so the required text for this course, you will need to get the textbook, and the textbook is They Say, I Say with readings. This is what it looks like, and it is available through the bookstore. I want to note that there are a couple different versions of the book. So there is the They Say, I Say with readings, and then there is a version of They Say, I Say without readings. We will be reading through the articles that are found in the They Say, I Say with readings. However, most of them can be found online, but you do take a risk that they might be unavailable, and then you run the risk of not being able to participate in that weekly discussion. So while you can go with the one without readings, I would just recommend to get They Say, I Say with readings, and that'll just make it easier on you. Now, we won't be referencing the book every single week. Other times I will post supplemental readings, and those can be found on Canvas. And when we start to explore our course Canvas page, I'll show you the different locations that you can find that. Okay, required materials, access to Canvas, obviously, and then word processing software. Now, I say Microsoft Word is preferable, but you must be able to submit assignments as a .doc or .docs file. So just do keep that in mind. Whatever program you decide to use, you should be able to submit it in one of those two file types. Suggested materials, now these certainly are not required, but they will be helpful throughout the semester. So access to Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit for information gathering / research and language analysis discussions. So especially as we get into Unit 2, where we start discussing civility, rhetorical listening, agonism, we will definitely reference social media because that is now a key avenue for public writing and public discussion. But again, if you want to stay off the grid, I completely respect that. So no need to get active accounts if you don't want to. I'd also suggest having access to annotation software. Mendeley, Zotero are both really great examples. And this is just to organize research materials as we move into Unit 3 and start working on things like the annotated bibliography. Again, not required, but can be helpful. And if you have any questions on accessing any of the suggested material, please do let me know. So we've got the catalog description here, course description, the English department mission statement, emphasis mission statement. So you can read through these on your own time if you would like. Now, I want to go over specific assignments and the grading criteria. So over the course of this semester, we'll have 4 major writing assignments. So we'll first start off with the project 1. It's a rhetorical analysis. Project 2, we'll move on to a solution synthesis. Project 3, an annotated bibliography, and project 4, a civic engagement argument. Now, just a heads up, how I have designed projects 2, 3, and 4, they are designed to feed into one another. So what I would recommend, project 2 will start really broad, and then the intent is to sort of narrow your focus as we move throughout projects 2 and 3 and into 4 to where you're composing your own original argument. That being said, though, you are certainly not married to a topic if what you started writing on in Project 2 is not what you want to explore in Project 4. But if it is helpful to be aware of that earlier on, that they're designed to basically stick with the same topic, that information is available to you, and you can read brief summaries here on what each project will entail. Other course assignments and components will have weekly discussions as well as weekly homework submissions. With the grade distribution, it's fairly straightforward. The writing projects will be worth 55% total of your grade between the 4 of them. And then we've got how that's broken down individually here. The weekly discussions will be worth 20% of your grade, the weekly homework 15%, and the pretest, midterm, and final all worth combined 10% of your grade. Now, my grading scale is fairly standard, so there shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary there. Class and institutional policies. Jumping down to some of the protocol. Attendance policy. So obviously this is an online course. We will not have any face-to-face meetings, but the way that the course is designed, you have to participate. You have to engage in the discussions in order for not only you to learn, but for your peers to learn from you. And so that way I can design the materials to help best meet your learning needs and objectives. So really what this comes down to is your attendance is based on your participation and submission of the weekly discussions and of the weekly homework. Missing over 4 full discussion contributions and or 4 weekly homework submissions can put you in jeopardy of a failing grade. And really this is just to make sure that you're still actively engaging with the material and getting the most out of the course that you can. Okay, late work. Let's chat about late work because I always get questions on this. The only late work I accept will be for final project submissions. So that will be projects 1 through 4 and just the final drafts, not the rough drafts, not the peer reviews, nothing of that sort. I will only take or I will only accept the final draft submissions of projects 1 through 4 late. Now, please keep in mind that there will be a 10% deduction for every 24-hour period after the scheduled due date. So all other assignments, including your lecture summaries, assignments, discussions, peer review assignments, rough drafts, like I said, will not be accepted after the scheduled due date. So please plan accordingly. Okay, so unless noted otherwise, so it's the submission policy. Unless noted otherwise, you should submit all assignments as a .doc or .docs file. I will not grade assignments submitted as pages files, which is commonly found on Mac devices. The reason for that is I am a PC person and pages do not open, and that delays my grading process significantly. Now, if you've never had to convert files before, please do let me know and I can help walk you through that if you need the assistance. So now let's quickly discuss academic honesty and integrity and the policies related to it. Now, this is a university policy, but I support it and will uphold it 100%. So with that, please don't cheat. Please don't plagiarize. It really as I see it, limits your opportunity to fully engage with and understand the course concepts. If you do have any questions, especially as we move into source-based writing regarding plagiarism, so if you are trying to cite someone, or you are paraphrasing a source and you're like, oh, I wonder if I'm citing them correctly or if this would be considered plagiarism, please ask me. I am more than happy to help walk you through that so you can avoid this at all costs. If I do, though, see any instances of academic dishonesty, I will report it to the proper avenues. So please do keep this in mind. I take academic honesty very seriously. But if it's just question of, am I citing sources correctly to avoid plagiarism, feel free to talk with me at any point, and I'm more than happy to help out. Okay, disruptive behavior policy. This is going to be especially important for our weekly discussions. So the purpose of this composition course is to develop strategies for discussing critical social and political issues in public spaces. To do that effectively, students must treat all classmates and the instructor with respect during discussions and collaborative projects. An initial instance of disruption will be discussed privately with the students. Any following occurrences may result in point deduction on assignments, failure on assignments, and or removal from the course. Really what this comes down to is when you are responding to your peers in the weekly discussions, when you're providing feedback for any of our major writing projects, please do so civilly and respectfully. Now, with the discussions, that doesn't mean that you have to absolutely agree with everyone, but when you are expressing disagreement, again, do so with the intent to learn from others and to teach others as well. And you, of course, have to do that through a civil and respectful tone. So, again, this is something I take very seriously, so please be cautious of it as we go throughout the semester. The Disability Support Services Statement. So with this, if you have any medical, psychological, or learning disabilities, please, please, please visit the Disability Resource Center if you haven't done so already. I am more than happy to work with any accommodations that you have and that you have worked out with the DRC. I just need that official paperwork to ensure that you are being extended the proper any of the proper or appropriate accommodations. We've got the Title IX statement here, as well as additional student support services that are available to you. So you can read through that on your own time. Now let's jump over to the course calendar. The course calendar, as you can see, is divvied up by week. So we've got week 1, January 7th through the 13th. There are going to be 4 columns for each week. The lectures that are due, the readings, the assignments, and important DSU dates. So with the lectures, these are going to be the core lectures that are due. As you read through the assignment description for the weekly homework, you will see that all core lectures, as well as their summaries and assignments, are required for each week. And then you have the opportunity, based on what you want to learn more about, to watch one mini lecture of your choice. Now, because you have the agency to select whatever mini lecture you'd like, that is not noted here, but each week you are required to watch one mini lecture in addition to whatever core lectures are included here. You'll also see that we've got the readings due for the week. So if it is something outside of They Say, I Say, it can typically be found online. And because of that, I have linked where you can find those online. There are a couple times, as you can see here, where you won't be reading, but you'll be watching a quick video. So, for example, you'll need to read these 2 articles that can be found online, but you'll also need to watch this video, which can be found on YouTube. Also, as we move throughout the semester, keep an eye out for when I suggest to review an assignment description. This will help you to start thinking about what major writing project is due next and what you'll need to do to successfully complete that project. So moving on to the next column, you'll see we've got the assignments due here. So weekly homework, and the due date is indicated in parentheses here. So Sunday, January 13th. Your discussion contributions are also due Sunday, as well as your pre-course assessment. Now, again, keep an eye out on these dates in parentheses. If you go, as an example here, okay, so not everything is due on Sunday. So for example, on week 3, as you can see here, we have got your project 1 rough draft is going to be due on the 22nd, whereas your weekly homework, your discussion contributions, and your peer review forms are all due on the 27th, that following Sunday. Okay, so, and finally, I've got some important DSU dates here. Again, things just to keep in mind as they apply to this course, as well as just your life as a student. So things like when tuition and fees are due, to the dates for dropping or auditing a class and those fees. And if we go all the way down, you'll see sometimes they disappear because there aren't really any major university due dates. But as we come down here, you'll see when the registration is open. Okay, so you can find all of the relevant due dates, readings, and materials by week on the course calendar. Now, last but not least, let's jump over to Canvas. Okay, so we have got our Canvas here. What I will recommend is that each week, check out the announcements first. So if we jump here to announcements, they're going to be labeled by week. So week 1 announcement, next week, Monday morning, you'll see week 2 announcement, and so on. As we go through here, I will note where you can find materials, what exactly is due. Also, if there are changes in due dates or if there are upcoming things that I want you to be aware of, this is where I will also share that as well. So you can see here, you'll need to watch core lectures 1 through 3 and 1 mini lecture of your choice. Read and watch our preparation materials. So read through the articles I've linked, the Project 1 assignment description, as well as watch the YouTube video on rhetoric. And then, of course, review the assignment descriptions for the weekly homework, weekly discussion, Project 1 rhetorical analysis. Provide all 3 contribution components for the weekly discussion. Compose and compile your weekly homework, and take our pre-course assessment. So, and then I'll provide a means of contact there as well. So like I said, every week, regardless of when you start working on your 2010 stuff, I would just turn to the weekly announcement so that way you can make sure that you are up to date with everything that we are doing that week. When getting onto Canvas after you have checked out the weekly announcement, I would recommend to go to the modules tab. So all of the material for each week will be included in the weekly module. You can see here that we have one for each week that we have, course content. And all you'll need to do is just drop down. So we've got an announcement here. Read the week 1 announcement first, which we did. In the weekly modules, you will basically find everything we're doing that week. So once I get the core lectures 2 and 3 added, you will see those here as well. They will say CL1, CL2, CL3. With the mini lectures, again, you can choose whichever ones you want, and you can approach it in whatever order you think will work best for you, given what we're working on in this course, and perhaps what you're doing, with writing in other courses as well. I make suggestions each week. I will post usually about 2 or 3 suggested mini lectures, so that's indicated by ML, mini lecture. And those will be included here. Now, you do not have to watch the recommended mini lectures. So if none of these seem interesting to you, or maybe you've already completed them as we go throughout the semester, again, you're welcome to select whichever one you would like. We also, in the weekly module, have the assignment submission folders. So when you are ready to submit your week 1 homework, you'll merely go here, and then you will do a file upload. Also, you can find a link to each week's discussion. So if we want to do the week 1 discussion, we can click on that. Also this week, I ask that you take the pre-course assessment. So that link can be found here. Also, you can find the readings and assignment descriptions that I have either mentioned in lecture materials or on the course calendars. So for example, you can find the assignment description for Project 1, the weekly discussion, and the weekly homework all here. Now, I will not include those in each week's module, but you can always find it here in the week 1 module. But as we go throughout the semester, I will include assignment descriptions where they're relevant. So, for example, when we get to week 4, that's probably where I will post the Project 2 assignment description, and so on. You can also find your readings here as well if it cannot be found in They Say, I Say. So these are hyperlinked. These are not PDFs. So if we are to click on it, of course, it typically will appear in this window. If not, it will redirect you to the actual web page. So this is one of our readings, and then we've also got the reading from Purdue OWL, as well as a TED Talk on rhetoric. So this is probably the easiest way to navigate Canvas. Everything is going to be organized by week. Now, if you perhaps can't remember which week, for example, I posted the weekly homework assignment description. Let's say you want to go back and review that. You can find many of these documents in secondary locations. Easiest place to find them, Files tab. So you can see we've got the assignment descriptions, course readings, which will be organized by week. And as you can see here clearly, we are not going to be pulling from supplemental outside readings every single week, but perhaps by looking at this, you can better anticipate of when those will be. Also, so if we go here to assignment descriptions, so you can see we've got the one for Project 1, as well as the assignment descriptions for the weekly discussion and the weekly homework. So again, if you really want to go back and revisit these, and you can't remember what weekly module you initially saw it in, you can find it in the Files tab. And of course, the syllabus and course calendar are here as well. And as we go throughout the semester, especially as we move into source-based writing, I'll post some writing resources here that you can access whenever you'd like if you find appropriate. Also, if you are looking for assignment submission folders, you can find those here on the assignments tab. So we've got the weekly discussion. So week 1 discussion, you can find it here. The Project 1 rough draft, and the week 1 homework. So, and of course the pre-course assessment here as well. Now, I've started building out for later on in the semester, and mostly I've included the major writing projects and all their submission folders here so they appear on your Canvas calendar. But as the semester goes, I will be adding these weekly homeworks assignment submission folders, as well as the midterm assessment and final assessment. Before we wrap things up and discuss the weekly homework as it corresponds to Core Lecture 1, there are a few more things that I just want to show you on Canvas that might be helpful. So first and foremost, even though I do include links to all of the core lectures and suggested mini lectures, in the corresponding weekly module, as again we see here with the available mini lectures, and as you'll see by the time you watch this video with the core lectures as well. There are other places that you can find these. So if you go to Pages and you click on mini lectures or core lectures, those will have the provided links. So core lectures are uploaded on a weekly basis. So if there are concepts that you want to revisit or lectures that you want to listen to again, you can always find that there. Again, if you're not sure which week you heard specific content being discussed. And again, with the mini lectures, you have you can exercise complete agency in what mini lecture you watch and when. So if none of the mini lectures that I discuss or I suggest in the weekly module are interesting to you, or perhaps you've already done them, especially as we move throughout the semester, if you just want to visit this page, you'll be able to have links to all of the available mini lectures. Also, if you don't want to email me, again, I prefer Canvas direct messaging. All you'll need to do is just go to your inbox here, click on it, send me a message, and again, I can usually respond fairly quickly if you message me on Canvas, at least quicker than I usually do with email. But again, regardless of what method you use, allow for that 24-hour response time. All right, so let's jump back and briefly discuss the weekly homework. So for this week, you will need to write a summary for Core Lecture 1 in your Week 1 homework submission. Also in your Week 1 homework submission, you should include your Core Lecture 2 summary and the lecture assignment, as well as Core Lecture 3 summary and assignment, and the summary and assignment of a mini lecture of your choosing. So you'll submit this all as one document before Sunday, January 13th. If you have any questions or if there are any concepts that you want to discuss further, please feel free to reach out and contact me. I am more than happy to chat with you about anything that we've discussed today. All right, everyone, until next time.